something similar to that on YouTube here. So the way that I'm going to structure this is there's going to be 4 classes. The shoulders, the core, and the hamstrings are all going to be about a 20-minute class. So you can do these separately, just depending on if you kind of want to do them by themselves, or you can run them so you watch each one in order and you follow along. And then for the last one, it'll be kind of a workshop style class into getting into pincha. So you can run all 4, and then it'll be kind of like the workshop that we had ran last month. So the first class we will be using a block. If you don't have a yoga block, that's fine. You can find just a book or a couple of books that will create a shape that when you put your hands on it on either side, they're about this far apart, give or take. So about inner shoulders, roughly. Now the other block is just optional. It's just something nice that you can sit on. So if you are sitting in a kneeling position like I am, you could just put it underneath your bum or sit cross-legged. So we're going to start off in an inner seated position. Whatever you choose is just fine. We'll take an inhale and reach the arms up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, begin to bend your elbows, palms will face forward, and you'll spread your fingers and draw your shoulder blades towards one another. Now hold here for a couple of moments and just notice if your ribs started to spill forward. So we want to open up through the front of the chest without compromising the back and coming into a swayed position. We want to stay nice and neutral. So you're going to do that a couple times with the breath. As you breathe in, the arms will reach up, the palms will face one another. As you exhale, elbows come into cactus, backs of the hands towards the back of your room, squeeze your shoulder blades together, don't flare your ribs. Inhale, arms reach up, exhale, cactus. So just moving with your breath here, inhale, reaching up, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, shoulder blades come closer together, squeeze them back. Inhale, arms up, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, arms up. Good, keep it going. Make sure I'm timing this. One more time. Coming into your cactus, holding here. Try not to splay through the ribs again, keep the core engaged. And then keep your elbows in line with your shoulders, but begin to turn your palms so they face down and then even back behind you if you can. So the fingers are facing towards the floor and your elbows are in line with your shoulders. As you breathe in, the fingers will point up, the elbows are still in line with the shoulders, the core is engaged. Exhale, fingers point down. So do that a couple times with the breath. The inhale, the hands face forward, and exhale, the hands face back. Nice slow inhale, slow exhale. Starting to feel a little bit of heat in your shoulders perhaps. One more time, up. One more time, down. Then as you reach your palms back up into your cactus, pause for another breath in. Stay for the breath out. Let your right hand come down to the floor beside you. Shoot your left arm up into the air. Externally rotate through the shoulders so you can see your palm. As you exhale, take a side bend over towards your right. Just pause here for a moment. Roll your shoulder blades together. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the sky. We're going to take just a little bit of a circular motion with this top arm. So you're still in your side bend. You can gaze up or forward or down, and just rotating this top arm in a circular motion, kind of like you're doing a backstroke. Good, one more time. And then coming through center, left hand finds the ground, right arm reaches up, breathe in, exhale, side bend over, pause. You can, again, gaze wherever feels comfortable for you, and just begin to roll that top arm around in a circle. You could add a little extra stretchy sensation into the neck if you like, looking down, looking forward, looking up. So having mobility in our shoulders is obviously extremely important. The more openness that we have, or more range of motion we have in our shoulders, usually means, our chest is more open and spacious. We're able to, breathe more fully. So there's tons of benefits to ensuring that our shoulders are able to move with freedom. So let's take one more circle around. And then coming through center, we're going to go side to side just a couple of times. So reaching the left arm up and over, and then reaching the right arm up and over. Getting a little bit dynamic here. breath, keep your hips glued to the mat, and really stretch up and out of your hips. So you feel the sensation all the way up the side body. Let's go one more time. And then as you come back to center, the arms will reach up, interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards the sky. Keep your low belly drawn in and begin to roll your arms into a tiny little circle. So imagine that you're holding a plate over your head with your fingers interlacing, your palms facing up. And you don't want the plate to spill whatever's on it. So it's not a huge motion or movement, but you are feeling some sensation of stretch and just what is, the limitations that maybe your shoulders have at this time, and then switch the direction, go the other way. Continue to press up, so this is, an active position. Good, and then come back to center, start to round your back as you press your palms forward. Let your hands come down to your knees, inhale, roll your shoulders towards one another, send your heart forward. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, open up, roll the shoulders back, send your heart forward. Exhale, round your back. Get really protracted through the shoulders. Twice more like that. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, rounding the back. Good, come to center, reach the arms up towards the sky. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, open your arms out into a T. Your palms are facing forward and your back of your hands are facing towards the back of your room. You can just start to pulse here. So you're pressing your arms back behind you without letting your ribs splay. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Try to stay relaxed through your face and your jaw. Good, and then take your right arm over top of your left as if you're giving yourself a hug. You can bring your hands towards your shoulders and just begin to protract your shoulders. So you're bringing your shoulders away from one another and then bring them closer towards one another. So your elbows might be stacked one on top of the other, and you're just kind of pulling the scapula apart and then bringing them closer together. Apart and closer together. Let's do that twice more. Okay, you're going to take your right hand and reach towards the left. Take your left hand either on your tricep or your forearm and just begin to create a little bit of a lever. So you're kind of pressing your hand or your arm rather towards your body and feeling a sensation of stretch in your shoulder, maybe your tricep a little bit here. So you're actively reaching your arm across your body and you're using your other hand to gently pull that arm towards your body. One more breath. Good, shoot that right arm up towards the sky. Bend the elbow as if you had a scratch on your neck. And then your left hand's going to plant right on top of your elbow and begin to glide the hand a little further down your spine without arching your back. So you can totally cheat and arch the back, but we don't want to do that. We want to stay nice and long through the spine, engage through the core, and just begin to kind of lengthen through that tricep. Pausing here, just putting as much pressure on this elbow, on your top elbow is what feels good for you. And then maybe taking just a little lean over towards the left. Just lengthen into that side body again. Let's take one more breath. Inhale, come back to center, reach your arms out wide. Little pulses here. And we're going to pulse, but turn the palms down, or back rather, so thumbs are facing down, pulse, and then palms facing forward, thumbs up. And then just switch, so thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. Your arms are out wide, and you're pulsing your hands back. Just getting that internal rotation, external rotation. Get as big with it as you can. So just finding what's your range of motion in your shoulders. Let's do that once more. And then hug yourself with now your left arm on top. Try to get your hands on either your shoulder head or your shoulder blades and just bring your shoulder blades apart and then together. Apart and together. And it's okay if you're not really feeling a lot of movement here. Just do your best. If you need to readjust how you're sitting at any time, that's fine too. Doing great. One more time, forward and back. Good. And then keep your left arm reaching towards the right. You're going to take your left hand, or your right hand, sorry, and just begin to glide that arm so it's coming a little closer towards your body, your chest, as you're reaching the arm away from you. So feeling some sensation in the tricep, maybe the space in between your shoulder blade, just using as much force as what feels good for you. You're not pulling it out of the socket, but just enough that you feel a stretch and you're actively reaching. So that left hand is really reaching towards the right. And then shoot the arm up towards the sky, bend the elbow, the hand comes behind the neck. That right hand's gonna come up right over top of the elbow and just begin to glide the elbow down any amount so you start to feel an enhanced amount of sensation, a more significant stretch in maybe your lat area, your tricep. I know I said shoulders, but we gotta work the whole part of the arm and upper back as well. So let's take another breath here. And if you like, you can take that side bend over. Good, doing great. All right, inhale the arms up into the air, give your wrist a little shake, and then bring your wrists down towards the floor, continue to shake. Find your block or the books or whatever it is that you're using. You're gonna bring your hands to the side of your block or whatever it is that you're using. Bring your elbows in line with your shoulders and press with a significant amount of force. So really strongly, your hands are pressing into this item that you're using. And at first, we're gonna let the elbows come close towards one another. They may or may not touch, that's okay. And then bring them back to neutral. So elbows come close towards one another, you're still pressing your hands into the blocks, and then elbows come back to center, so they're in line with your shoulders. Elbows come together, elbows come back to center. Together and center. Keep it going, just at a pace that feels good for you. Don't worry about if the elbows are touching or not. Keep the force of the palms pressing into the shoulders. Let's go 2 more. 1 more. Good, hold, press the hands into the block. Begin to lift your elbows up. Your fingers will point back. And you want to think about bringing your elbows in line with your shoulders and your fingertips pointing towards the wall behind you without splaying your ribs. So notice if your ribs have started to broaden, and if that's happened, draw it back in. Draw your navel towards your spine. And then just a little bit of movement here. Think about bringing your elbows closer towards one another, just like we were doing. They probably won't touch. Your head's in the way, so probably not. And then bring them back to center. And again, it might not seem like you're moving a lot. You might not be moving a lot, and that's okay. And bring them back to center. So the elbows come closer together while your fingers are still pointing back. Your elbows are pointing towards the sky. You're just bringing the inner portion of your bicep closer together. Do that 3 more times. Doing great. Keep the squeeze of the block. 1 more time. Good, come to center, and then we're gonna floss the shoulders. So you're gonna bring the elbows down so they're in line with the shoulders, and then bring them back up so they're stacked over the shoulders, the fingers point back. So in line, and then up and back. In line, and up and back. Feel that warmth building. Try not to move the rest of your body. It's just the arms, the shoulders. Nice and slow and controlled. Good job. We're gonna go 3 more. And 2. 1 more. Try to keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Good, come down. Oh. Release the block, give yourself a quick little shake. We're gonna come to standing for a moment. So if you've been sitting on another block, you can just move it out of the way. You're gonna wanna use your other block or book or whatever it is that you're using. You're gonna come towards the top of your little workspace. Your block's gonna be on its, I'll just face this way, on its medium setting. Let's take a nice deep breath and reach the arms up towards the sky. Don't let your ribs splay, so you're keeping your core engaged. As you exhale, let your hands come down to grab hold of the block. Palms on either side. As you breathe in, just begin to lengthen your spine a little bit. So just like you would in like a halfway lift, you can keep your fingertips where they are, or you can even lift a little bit away from the ground, engage your core. As you exhale, block comes down to the ground. You're gonna step your right foot back. So you're coming into a lunge position. So just a little wiggle around until you find your lunge. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Now in lunge, you want your left knee over your front ankle and your feet about hip distance apart. You can have your back toes tucked under or lie them flat, whatever feels good for you. Whatever variation you're in, or whatever you're doing, just engage your inner thighs. and then begin to lift the block up. So the block's right over top of your head. So it's hips, shoulders, and fingertips to start. And then we'll start to bend the elbows. So the elbows are pointing back, the fingers are pointing back, the elbows are reaching towards the sky, and you're keeping your low belly drawn in. Hold here for a couple of breaths. If you want to find a little bit more heat here, you can begin to bring your elbows closer together, just like we were doing before. They might not come super close. Again, your head's kind of in the way, but just bringing them towards one another, keeping your core engaged. Let's go 3 more. Good. 2 more. 1 more. Shoot your block up into the air, so straight line from your hips, your shoulders, your fingers. Take a breath in. As you exhale, let your block come down right on the inside of your foot, and then you can start to lift your back leg up, square your hips. We're going to do the same thing, but just in a crescent lunge. So fingertips on either side of your block, your palms are nice and pressing. You're going to come all the way up. Ooh, find your balance. Feet are hip distance. You're squeezing your inner thighs. You're not letting your ribs splay open. This shirt isn't really showing a very good job of my ribs. And then start to bend your elbows so your fingers point back. And then pause here. Keep pulling your navel in, keep pressing your palms into the block, and then if you like, you can begin to do little pulses of your elbows towards yourself, towards center. Just 3, just 2, and 1. Good, just shoot the block straight up, squeeze the block, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, blocks can come down to the floor. You can lower your back knee down. We're going to switch out the legs. So your left knee can come down to the ground. Your right foot's going to step. It doesn't need to be overly graceful. Feet hip distance apart. Wiggle your back leg a little further back if you need. You're going to start off with that low lunge. So inhaling, the arms come up. Squeeze the block. Draw your navel in, tailbone down. Bend the elbows. Point the fingers back. Press the elbows up. Squeeze the inner thighs together, and begin to bring your elbows closer, and then back to neutral. Closer, and then in line with your shoulders. Closer, and in line with your shoulders. 3 more. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Keep that activation in your low belly. Last one. And then just building a little bit more heat, reaching the fingers straight up. Big breath in, squeeze the block. Exhale, fingers down. You're going to pop up off of your back, or onto your back foot rather. Squeeze the inner thighs together, find your focal point. Inhale, lift the arms up. Engage your inner thighs towards the center. Press into your block. Bend your elbows. Send your elbows up. Draw your navel in. Don't let your ribs splay. And then find little pulses. Elbows closer towards your head. Back to center. Closer to the head. Back to center. Doing great. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Shoot the arms straight up, so hips, shoulders, and fingertips in line. Press into your block. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, fingertips come down to the floor. You can use your block to support your hands. Send both of your knees back, so you're in a tabletop position. Your hands underneath your shoulders. Take your knees just a little bit wider than hips distance. Do this from this side. And then take an inhale breath and sweep your right arm up towards the sky. Taking a couple of rolls of that right shoulder. Or right arm rather. Kind of like you're doing that backstroke action again. Go 3 more. 2 more. On your last one, reach the arm up nice and high. As you exhale, sweep the right hand underneath the bridge of your left. Come down to rest on your right shoulder. We're going to pause here just for a deep breath in. Stay for the breath out. As you breathe in, reach the right arm back up into the air. As you exhale, let the right hand move down to the floor. Before we take it to the other side, we're going to go into a stretch for the inner chest. So I'm going to demo this just facing towards you guys and probably make a little bit more sense. So your arms are going to come out into either a cactus position or a T position. You can play around with the variation. You're going to rest down on your right cheek and slide your left hand underneath your left shoulder. Bend your left knee and then roll onto your right hip as you bring your left toes over towards the right. So you'll be feeling some sensation in that inner portion of your shoulder and your chest. Hand again can be in a cactus position or straighten the arm. You can be resting down on your head, your ear. If your foot doesn't find the ground, no big deal. It can just be hanging out in space. Or if you want to have like a bolster or something underneath, that's an option too. Just one more breath. Slowly start to unwind. Bring yourself back up onto your hands and knees. Oops, coming into your tabletop position with the knees wide. Left arm will lift up towards the sky. Start to roll that shoulder around. Big spacious movements. Big circle. One more. Deep breath in. Exhale, sweep the arm underneath the body. Come into your twist. Lowering down on your shoulder, your cheek, your ear, wherever you land. Make any little adjustments that you like, and then pause for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. As you breathe in, slowly start to unwind, reaching the left arm up, back up towards the sky. Exhaling, left hand finds the ground. I'll turn again, so we'll take it to the other side. You're going to lie down onto your belly. Your arms are going to come out into either that cactus position or T, whatever you prefer. Gazing the opposite direction now. You're going to bend your right elbow so the hand lands on the floor. Bend your right knee, and then in one full swoop, you're going to press into your hand so your foot can come towards the floor behind you. Either having your left elbow bent or the arm straight, whatever you prefer. Any part of the pose is still the pose, so if your position looks a lot different than mine, that's totally fine. As long as you're feeling some sensation of stretch, it's not too much, it's not too little, you're doing it right. Take one more breath. Slowly begin to unwind, bringing yourself back to center. You can press yourself up onto your hands and knees, and then just find yourself onto your seat, whatever seated position feels good for you. And begin to roll out your shoulders. Forward, up, back, and down. As you do this, you might like to roll your head around a little bit. And then go the other way. It's really important to, of course, move the body in every which direction, even when it feels a little awkward and weird. Good, and then bring it to center and just do a couple of shrug and release, shrug and release, shrug and release. Couple of rolls of the head. Let your hands rest down on your thighs. Close your eyes. Just notice the quality of your breathing here. And take a moment to send a little gratitude towards yourself. So that completes our part one of our 4-part kind of peak pose prep workshop for pincha or forearm stand. Again, if your shoulders just needed a little bit of love, you might want to just do this practice all by itself and not worry about following the other 4 parts. As always, please subscribe, share this with your friends, leave a little comment, tell me what you liked. It really does help. And if you